Hey, Dripping Springs, it's Ashley and Amber, so it must be 4 o'clock on a Wednesday, and it sure is. This is Weekly Drip, season, 6, episode 8. Trying to do my very best to make us public on the internet. There we are, so bear with me. But you guys, we have a very special episode today. This is going to be the episode where I try and do most of the talking because my dearest friend in the whole wide world has lost her voice. Hi, Amber. Are you okay?
I'm okay. I have this much of a voice.
So little, like the smallest amount of voice.
Baby voice.
But you were saying that you haven't really been like sick though. It was just you lost your voice and just
no,
that was that.
I haven't felt real sick. I have given myself this time to take some naps just because there's not a whole lot I can do when I don't have a voice. So I've just been gentle with myself, but no, I haven't felt bad really at all.
That's awesome. Kind of going back to, it was either last week or the week before. I can't quite remember. Gentle is like my theme word for the year. I love that. I'm so glad you're being gentle with you.
Of course, gentleness.
I have a funny story that I wanted to tell you. And I thought it was so funny that I've been waiting to tell it here. So you're my dear friend that has educated me on chicken math. And at the moment, I don't own chickens, you guys. I did when I was a little kid. I raised them in 4-H. Like we always had chickens. They laid brown and green eggs. And I thought it was so funny to tell people that I have actually eaten green eggs and ham, as I'm sure you have too. Like that was one of my like kind of like fun facts about me. I've had green eggs and ham. With that, I do live in a pretty rural area. So my neighbors asked if I could look in on their chickens and a bunny and a bird. And I'm like, this is like the easiest check-in of my life ever. No problem. But I have a lot of fear and paranoia that a raccoon's going to eat a chicken and that they won't like me anymore because they're my neighbors that got their chickens killed. So lots of anxiety there. So I go over 3 nights ago, and I count them and I only count 5. And I'm like, oh God. And it's after dark because they won't go back into their area. What?
How many are there supposed to be?
Great question. I love that question. So I text my neighbor and I'm like, hey, are a couple missing? And she's like, 3 are missing. And I'm like, oh my God. They love those like worm things. So like during daylight hours, I was trying to get them to go in their little area and like shut the door, but they just wouldn't do it. And I'm like, oh God, what are we going to do? And I'm like, well, let me move on. I'm going to go check on the bird. I'm going to check on the bunny. So I do that. And then she calls. I didn't see it. I call her back and she's like, hey, by the way, sometimes they like to hide in the tree above the bunny pen. And I'm like, bet that would be amazing. So I bebop over there. And sure enough, they're up in this tree, which is above my head. Like I have to stick my arms up as high as they go to get to the tree branch. And she's like, usually at the end of the day, if they're up there, they're tired enough, or if you just put their hand on their chest, they'll like kind of lean in and you can take them down. They don't want to do that with me. They don't want to do that with me at all. At all. Oh, so no. I am on day 3 of like wrestling chickens out of a tree to get them in their kind of pen area to then go into their coop so I can like shut the door. And it's above my head. So yesterday I have one perched on my head, freaking perched. And I'm under a cedar tree up against a fence. And I'm like, I don't even know what to do here. And they're squawking and flapping their wings. And I'm just like, I want to go into like fallout shelter position.
Oh my gosh. Oh my God. I've never seen that in real life. I've only seen that on TV. Did you take a picture? Please tell me you did.
Absolutely not. Oh, no, ma'am. Nobody should see me like this, but should you be a fly on the wall, you certainly get to laugh at the situation. So this has become a trend. Like, I think they think it's this really fun game where this like random lady shows up to shoo them out of a tree and like back into their home or something.
Fantastic.
But I say that to say this. I love how you homestead, friend. I love how you actually truly love your chickens. And I thought we are the same. We are cut from the same cloth. Maybe I should have chickens too. No, not happening. I don't want chickens. I am not interested. No, thank you. That is what I've learned.
Okay, I'll have chickens for both of us.
You can have the chickens for the both of us, please.
You've got the pool, I got the chickens. We're good.
Done. Done. With that, kind of speaking of homesteading and spring being on the horizon, it feels like it. I hear that we might end up with another freeze. That could happen, a random freeze. Who knows? I don't know. But we thought today we would kind of jam on spring planting season and then give you some ideas of where to go pick things up. So if you've got a garden or you want to have a garden, you should have done some stuff in January, February. That is what I've learned. But we're not completely out of the woods on February yet, so there's still time. And I'm going to quickly fly through this list. And if you want it as a resource, post a comment. I will send it straight to you. This came from the county extension agent office for Travis County. So I know it's like specific for Central Texas. So I'm going to go through the vegetables that I know and recognize. That's what I'm going to do here. Because I feel like that'll resonate with the most amount of people. So now is the time to get asparagus crowns in. Fun fact, here's what I know about asparagus. When you plant it, you're not supposed to eat it for like the first like 3 to 5 years. So like plant it and leave it alone.
I didn't know.
Did you know that?
I didn't. If you didn't know, now you know.
Now you know. Now you know. In March, snap and lima beans are good to go. Right now is a good time for beets, which is actually my favorite vegetable, like top tier, top 5 for me. Broccoli transplants, now's the time. Broccoli's really good for your liver. If you didn't know, now you know. Cabbage needs to be done by the end of February, so jump on that. Starting middle of next month, cantaloupe. Right now is a great time for carrots, cauliflower, Swiss chard, collards. Corn is going to be towards the end of the month. And then, let's see, we skipped that. Cool season greens. I don't know what the difference is between cool season and warm season greens. So I'm going to need somebody else to tell me, or I mean, I can Google it too. Again, did I mention?
There's some that you can plant more than once a year. Like there's an early season and a late season.
Interesting. Super interesting. Lettuce is for now, we missed the boat on onions. I did say recently, I have been known to say many times, if there are 2 things that I feel like I should be growing myself, it's potatoes and onions, because I am always buying potatoes and onions at the store. Have you ever grown potatoes or onions?
I did grow potatoes.
How did you do
onions. I mean, I've grown green onions and chives, but I've not grown the bulb onions.
Did it go well?
It was my first time. I don't know that I necessarily planted them on time. My mom just gave me some that she had started, some sweet potatoes, and she was like, "Here, throw these in the ground over there." And I was like, "Okay." And so I put them in the ground and I watered them, and then I ignored them, and I grew some, but they were just really little. So I don't know if that was because I planted them too late or what. That's not something I have a lot of experience with. So I don't know. I mean, I got some. They tasted like potatoes.
Perfect. I have regrown green onions, like shallots, but just by like throwing them in water until the water smells really bad. And then I'm like, I just don't know if this is the best idea. I don't think you're really supposed to be hydroponic. I've just never taken off that way. Kind of wrapping up the list, Irish potatoes, now is the time. Radish, spinach, seeds or transplants, and turnips. Next month, it's a whole new ball game. But again, I have this whole like helpful little planting guide if you want it. tell me. I'll share it with you.
And if you weren't able to start your own seeds, that's okay, because there are places that you can go for starters too. So even if you don't make it on time for getting those seeds in the ground, those starters in the ground, you have other options. So our farmers market there's always multiple different vendors that have plants, starter plants there. I do have a list of who all is carrying vegetables this week, meaning today at farmers market. I don't know how many of them have starters, but usually, I would say usually like half of them have starters. But at farmers market today is going to be Better Days Gardens, Hopeful Farm, Millwood Farm, Songland Farm, Spore and Savory, Wild Candy Farm, and Homegrown. So there's 7 different vendors just at today's farmers market that are going to have vegetables and are very likely to have some kind of starters. And then Homegrown, if you don't know, now you know, they have their location back. So they have a brick and mortar. They are in the shopping center next to El Rey. We're so excited for them. Yay! And they already have starters up. You can take a look at their website at what starters that they have, or you can just go straight into their store. They're also going to be at farmers market today. So if you want to just hit up farmers market, like hit up everybody, find out what they've got. That is definitely an option that you have. Also, super important, if your soil is no good, it doesn't matter what you put in it. It's not going to grow. You got to have good soil. So my favorite place to get good soil is Geo Growers. They have several different options depending on what you're looking for. If you're looking to plant in the ground, if you're looking to plant in planters, which is what I usually do. I usually plant in pots. Just because these dang deer, man, I haven't quite figured it out yet how to grow things that they don't also want to eat.
They want everything. I tell people that are new to Central Texas when we're going through like the home buying process and they're so enamored by the deer, like I let them be excited for a little bit. And then after we've seen them a few times at like different properties we're looking at, I'm like, hey, just FYI, they're kind of garbage disposals, just so you know.
Everything.
Also, it's kind of not a matter of if you're going to hit one with your car. It's a matter of like when you're going to hit one with your car. Like they're everywhere.
It's all clear. I don't want it.
Yes. But with that, they will build a strong enough relationship with you that eventually they will eat out of your hand. And that's kind of cool too. I mean, it's pretty neat. Did you know that this area is one of the only areas that has melanistic deer, meaning the like almost black deer?
Yes.
Isn't that cool?
Have you seen them?
Yeah, they're in my neighborhood.
Yeah, I've seen them too. It's really, really interesting. I've seen some that are like almost completely black, and then I've seen some that are more like a dark chocolate color, just like a darker brown.
They're super pretty. Growing up where I grew up, we had a little family of albino deer. So like ranging the spectrum. I've never seen an albino deer here, but I have seen albino deer in Central Texas, and I think that's pretty cool as well. So I think you're absolutely right. You got to get the good soil. Guys, if I'm reading you from a list of vegetables to plant, I'm not here to act as though I'm a master vegetable gardener. I'm not. I just wanted to be helpful. What I do love to do is buy really pretty plants, and by the grace of God, I keep 75% of them alive every year, and I'm replanting 25% of those. When I'm replanting those, I'm going to one of two places. I'm either going to a natural gardener, which is just a touch outside of Dripping Springs, or I'm going to Vivero. I love Vivero over in Cedar Valley, right next door to 10,000 Pots. And what I like about both of those places is they're really open to a conversation of, hey, can you explain, like I'm 5, what is safe to plant where the deer won't eat it? Lantana is a great natural plant. It's also a pollinator, meaning like your butterflies will go absolutely bananas for it. It blooms several times a year. But I'll tell you what, when that lantana is a baby, a deer will absolutely eat it. So you got to protect all those plants while they're babies, or the deer will still eat them.
And if you have a lot of questions too, also, guess what? At Farmers Market is the Hayes County Master Gardeners, and they would be more than happy to talk to you about all things planting, gardening, everything here in our local ecosystem and what that looks like and what you may want to consider in doing certain planting. And they are going to be at Farmers Market today as well. And if that's not enough places to get plants, Solstice Gardens.
Oh my gosh.
I absolutely love that place. There have been many times that I have gone there just to walk around, just because it's like walking through a garden. It's so fun. They have the koi fish and like the pond. And I take my son and they have all the artwork set up. It's so neat. And then if you go inside, they have all kinds of gifts and all kinds of other really, really neat things. So, I mean, whether you're getting plants or you're looking for gifts, that's a great place to go. I love it there, and so does my son. My kids are never mad when I'm like, hey, do you want to go to Solstice Gardens? And they're like, okay, let's go.
Absolutely. Oh my gosh. Yeah, no, you nailed it. You nailed it. I do also have a zero cost way to try some new things. And I don't mean you're going to be stealing them out of the river, not naming names or anything, but I know people that do that. Here is a Facebook group for a plant swap locally here in Dripping Springs. So this is a great little resource. Join the group, trade it. Vista Brewing has a plant swap that pops up every now and again. And it is so good. So if you're kind of nervous to try something out, maybe baby step it and see if you can trade with someone, or if somebody has something up for grabs that you've been wanting to try, and you don't want the guilt associated with it. My word, kind of a tangent, but I got a cactus from my grandma after she passed away, and I had it for about a decade, and then I killed it. And I have never felt more guilty about something in my life. So I think I've decided I'm just not going to inherit plants anymore, because the guilt and the weight that comes from that free plant is way different than the guilt and the weight from a free plant that happens in a plant swap. So I'm like exclusive. I'm getting a free plant. We're going to swap and trade for it.
And if you have something that's doing really well that you want to section that off and give some of that away, that's a perfect way to go to that plant swap at Vista West. A lot of people like to do actual trades, like, hey, I've got this. What do you have? I've gotten some really, really neat, unique plants from there for free, just by taking other things that I had extras of. So if something is doing really well, and whether it's a house plant or a garden plant, it really doesn't matter. Or even if it's just seeds that you have, you can take all of that to that plant swap at Vista West. And yes, that Facebook group is great. I've got lots of plants from there. I see people trading all the time. It's a great place to be.
It is a great place to be. And friend, I forgot to share my only number one. It's my only dirt tip. When you're digging in your dirt, and you're moving plants around or you're cleaning things up, if you come across really fat worms that you'd go fishing with, that's a sign that your dirt is good.
Yes.
That's all I know about dirt. If I find worms, we're on the right track.
Unless you find the ones that are the hammerhead looking ones. Those ones, bad. Highly invasive. They take out everything. If you see those, you want to get rid of them.
Yes.
Quickly, efficiently, completely. You don't want them in your garden.
Did you ever see that movie with Kevin Bacon when you were a kid called Tremors?
Yes.
That's what I just envisioned.
They're tremors. You got to get rid of them. They're bad.
Go. Blow them up with tannerite. They got to go.
They can't stay here.
Stay here. No. Get out.
Scram.
I love it. Amber, I know you have a list going. Did we hit everybody on your list, friend, today? Okay. I know I try to do the majority of the talking as you're recovering, and you guys send good thoughts and vibes for this mysterious, I've lost my voice, not sure what's going on. So Amber will be back next week in action, full voice. I guarantee it. I'm feeling like it'll happen. no ifs, ands, or buts about it. But that was season 6, episode 8 of the Weekly Drip. And y'all, we will see you next time.
Have a great week. You're frozen and I can't tell if it's me or you.